Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to talk about the fact that the Senate has appointed a new Supreme Court justice. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably seen this already. The new justice is, and I hope I pronounce this name right, it's a tricky name, Kentanji Brown, is that how you say it? Brown? Jackson. Now, this is the first black woman ever appointed to the Supreme Court. And I've seen a lot of people having a lot of different reactions to this today. Some positive, some negative, some really bad, some very racist reactions, but those have been really subdued and few and far between. I was happily surprised. But there are some people that are very concerned about what this means for gun rights in this country, and does it change the makeup of the court, and will it affect some of the cases that are making their way to the Supreme Court right now that deal with our gun rights as citizens. They deal with the Second Amendment. A lot of people are saying her appointment is going to make it less hopeful that they will come out in our favor. Well, I want to address that today, and I want to address other things. First, I want to address this issue as a gun owner. And as a gun owner, am I worried how she'll rule on the Second Amendment? Well, yes, of course I am. She's a democratically appointed justice. But does who appoints them always make the difference in how they judge? Not always. Usually, but not always. We'll have to see. The only way you can really judge these people is by their record. Not by what they say, just what they do. That's all you can judge them on. Now, do I think I can trust any person who's appointed to the Supreme Court? No. Because they're also appointed by politicians, and politicians tend to appoint people who protect the government's power and the government's privilege and the corporations that support and own the government. We've seen that with some recent additions to the court who will remain nameless right now, who we thought would vote one way when it came to individual rights and corporate entities and government overreach, and they didn't quite live up to what they said they'd do. But as far as Judge Jackson, I believe that's how you would say it. I don't think that last name is hyphenated. I think it's just Jackson is her last name and Brown is her middle name. Judge Jackson, as far as how she'll rule, I don't know, because I don't think she has much of a record on gun rights, period. I haven't seen much from her on gun rights. Do I think she's going to be very pro-gun? No, I don't. And do I like that? No, I don't. Of course not. You all know what I do, so that runs contrary to me. I do know that she did say, and this is one thing I will give her credit for, credit where credit is due. I don't think there's some people on the Supreme Court right now who I don't think would say this. She did say that the law of the land is that gun rights, the Second Amendment, is an individual guaranteed right. That it is a right that the courts have upheld as being both individual and very important. I don't really know how exactly she phrased it, but she phrased it in a way of, it is an individual, very important, inseparable right. So that's a positive. But like I said, you can't judge them on what they say. You can only judge them on what they do. And do I have high hopes for her being very pro-gun? No, I do not. Do I worry that that's going to affect the chances of pro-gun cases coming up to the court soon? No, I don't. Because her appointment does not change the makeup of the court. Remember, she's replacing Breyer. Breyer was one of the most anti-gun justices there are. He was the guy who wrote the dissent against Heller, one of the most important pro-gun decisions in history, a decision that not granted or even reaffirmed, in my opinion, just acknowledged, made public, that the Constitution does grant us certain individual rights. And he wrote the dissent against that. And one of the reasons he did is, and one of the reasons I hate Breyer more than any other justice on Supreme Court, he is well known for his stated opinion that the Constitution is not a literal document. It doesn't matter what it says, it matters what it says compared to modern opinions and modern public interest. So in other words, he thinks that the document is just a guideline. It doesn't matter what they wrote. It just matters what we think their intent was and how that intent reflects on today's society, or how it's shaped by today's society. That's the worst kind of justice you can have, as far as I'm concerned. That's a justice who doesn't believe in the Constitution, in my opinion. Breyer is that. So if Brown gets in there, and even if or Jackson, excuse me, if she gets in there and she votes pro-Constitution, even close, I think she's better than Breyer. Because Breyer, like I said, is one of the worst. Does not support the Constitution. When he sits down to do his job, he doesn't think, my job is to sit down and see if this jives with the Constitution. And does the Constitution overrule this? Or what does the Constitution say about this? He thinks his job is to sit down and decide what he thinks the modern interpretation of the Constitution would be. And I don't like that at all. So as long as she doesn't do that, she'll be better than Breyer. So like I'm saying, at very worst, she'll be as bad as Breyer. She couldn't be worse. And that won't change the makeup of the court at all. It won't be any different than it was yesterday. But if I think there's a 51% chance she'll be better than Breyer, at least that gives us a little bit better of a chance. I don't think she's going to be some constitutional radical that actually gets in there and whips people into shape, but I think she's going to be slightly better than Breyer. Because I think a lot of people don't realize how bad he actually is. So not worried about it affecting the cases that are coming to the court, because like I said, doesn't change the makeup. If anything, there's a little chance it'll be better. So I'm just as hopeful that all the gun rights cases coming to the Supreme Court in the near future will have just as much chance of passing as they did before, maybe even a little more so with Breyer gone. So as far as a gun owner looks at this, of course I'm not happy with her. Do I know much about her? No, I have to admit I don't know much about her. Do I trust her? No, I don't trust any of them. No political appointees. Will I wait and see what she does? I have no choice. Will it affect anything in the country right now? No, because she's replacing the worst of the worst. Will it affect the bills, like I said, or the laws that are coming up for judgment in the Supreme Court regarding the Second Amendment? Doesn't affect it at all. So I'm not going to be like flipping my wig or clutching my pearls about it, because I ain't that concerned. I think it's kind of a non-issue. And people that are concerned, I can understand why you're concerned. But when you look at the facts, I don't think we have anything to worry about. At least not it being any worse. Because believe me, I think Biden and them could have appointed worse. Even the Republicans who voted against her said she's highly qualified and she's an upstanding judge, and they had no problems with her. So that's a good sign at least, but could be a bad sign too. Because like I said, they love people who protect them and their privilege. But with that being said, how I look at it as a gun owner, not thrilled, but not, like I said, going to run around panicking either. I want to address it now as how I see it as an American. As an American, I think this is monumental. I think this is very positive. The fact that a black woman has made it to the Supreme Court. I find that to be groundbreaking and well-deserved. I don't know about the rest of you out there, but where I come from, West Virginia, Alabama, where I spent most of my youth, black women are some of the cornerstones of society. They dedicate so much of their time and effort to their communities. They have done so much for our society and our culture as a whole for decades. And they get very little recognition for it. In fact, they talk about how women get very little recognition compared to men. Well, black women get even less than white women do. And they do just as much, sometimes more, in my experiences. So I am actually happy to see a black woman appointed to the Supreme Court. Would I have rather it been a conservative constitutionalist? Of course I would. But I'll accept this for what it is. It is a monumental day when America has put forward a black Supreme Court female justice. That's a good thing in every way, as far as I'm concerned, when you look at it just in that aspect. And I wish her very much well. I wish her well, because I don't know her, so I don't dislike her. I don't dislike any of them personally, because I don't know them. I don't like Breyer, because of the things he said about the Constitution. I don't like him professionally. But personally, I don't hate any of them. Definitely don't dislike her, and I wish her the best. Like I said, this is monumental. This is historic, and we should recognize that. In fact, I'm a little excited because I think maybe it'll spice up the Supreme Court hearings, from here on out. When she gets her entrance music, which I assume they all get entrance music. I can't imagine that the WWE gets entrance music, but the Supreme Court doesn't. So I can't decide whether I think her entrance music should be, Miss Jackson by Outkast, or should it be Nasty by Janet Jackson. But either way, and feel free to let me know in the comment section which one you think it should be. Either way, I think it's really going to liven up the proceedings, because I'm pretty sure the music a lot of the other ones choose is probably pretty boring, white bread, bleh. Except for what, Sotomayor, that's probably pretty jazzy, probably Hispanic. But other than that, like I said, historic moment. I look forward to seeing what she does. Do I think I'm going to agree with her decisions? Probably not. Do I think I'm going to love her? Probably not. But am I going to think she's as bad as Breyer? Also, probably not, because he was one of the worst, and I'm so glad to see him go that I'm almost happy to see her come. Even though, like I said, she's not the constitutionalist that I would love to see appointed, I still think she's going to be better than Breyer. All right, everybody, that's it for me today. I went long once again. So I want to say thanks to everybody for coming. I do appreciate it. I hope you come back again next week. Until then, I just want to say to everyone out there to remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again. Edition of Inside Guns with your host, me. What the fuck was that? That come along with this appointment today. That's shitty. I don't know what that fucking was. Brown Jackson. The name is... Fuck. The name is... Could I say that more like I'm on fucking Sesame Street? I don't know if I like that.